This is St. Lawrence County Courthouse. We're here on April the 18th of 2013, and what we've come here to do is to celebrate free speech in America. This is St. Lawrence County, and I'm trying to get a zoom of their flag. It's a nice flag. It's got a picture of a deer running on it, and it's blowing around the wind so much I can't really get a good shot of it. I'm going to try it. There it is, St. Lawrence County flag. It's America, and we're here to utilize our free speech. We're going indoors because it's a public building. St. Lawrence County Courthouse has been a good place to do free speech, and we continue using our free speech here to speak out about the failure of government to warn the public of the presence of chemicals that cause cancer and diabetes and heart disease in the animal fats, the mainstream food supply. We're here inside the courthouse now, and my cameraman Lou Shepard is getting a nice photo of the seal of St. Lawrence County. It's a white-tailed deer in a basically looks like mountains, and the agricultural and the waters of St. Lawrence River provide there at the feet of the deer. We're here to show our love of free speech in America. This is a Cancer Action New York free speech performance. My name is Donald Hussey. We're here on April the 18th, 2013, and this is the St. Lawrence County Courthouse in Canton, New York, in the USA. And I'm here dancing and speaking freely because we have freedom of speech. And we've had a little bit of a bump in the road on the free speech trail that we've been following forever so long. Recently, I was facing a charge of stalking in the 4th degree, and that charge was brought by St. Lawrence County because I was speaking freely about chemicals causing cancer and the need for our government to show some spine and show some good intention and start warning the public about the presence of the persistent organic pollutants, dioxins, PCBs, and flame retardants, warning the public about the contamination of the foods of the mainstream food supply, the foods that contain animal fat, of the mainstream food supply containing dioxins and flame retardants and PCBs and other known carcinogens. Our county government could educate on this. It has the freedom to use its public health entity, its public health department, to educate the people of St. Lawrence County. The reason it's not educating on this is not because there's any lack of science. There's an overabundance of science that would cause a reasonable person to conclude that the public needed to be warned about the presence of these chemicals in the mainstream food supply, these industrial chemicals that have been used for decades, more than decades, nearly 100 years, some of these chemicals, a long time. PCBs started being used in the 1930s. Here we are, nearly 2020, and still the public hasn't been warned about the presence of these chemicals in the animal fats of the beef and the pork and the ice cream and the cheese and the eggs, all the animal fats of the mainstream food supply. Public's been warned about the contaminants and the presence of those contaminants and the exposures that occur for these contaminants being in the wild-caught fish of the St. Lawrence River, but not in the mainstream food supply. So we started trying to get our county public health department to warn the public about this, and then we became the enemy. And we're here to say, Viva the revolution, and we are so happy that we have freedom of speech. Having freedom of speech is where it's at. It's everything. If we didn't have free speech, we'd be in much worse shape, but we've got free speech, and I'm here saying hallelujah for free speech in America. I'm Donald Hussey. I'm the director of Cancer Action New York. We're celebrating. It was so good for my heart to read the decision and order that Judge Kathleen O'Horo recently provided on a motion that I had made for dismissal of a stalking and 4th degree charge that I was facing. Judge O'Horo is a very just person. I just felt this fairness, this reasonableness. When she said that I had a legitimate purpose, which I knew deeply in my heart that I had a legitimate purpose for endeavoring to apply some pressure to the County Public Health Director, Dr. Susan Hathaway, to apply some pressure upon her to do her job of warning the public of avoidable health hazards. I've been trying for years now to motivate Dr. Hathaway to warn the residents of St. Lawrence County about the presence of chemicals that are referred to as persistent organic pollutants, the dioxins, the PCBs, and the flame retardants, to warn the residents of St. Lawrence County about the presence of these chemicals in the food that they're eating. They're eating eggs, and they're eating milk, and they're eating cheese, and they're eating meat products, and all these products, when they contain animal fat, they contain these chemicals that are known to cause cancer and diabetes and heart disease. And so I'm trying to get Dr. Hathaway Hathaway to warn the public about this, and she's not cooperating, and she's speaking falsely about the information I bring forward, claiming it's invalid when it's very well founded, great epidemiological studies and World Health Organization report. It felt wrong, and I just felt angry to a degree. And so I was trying to put some pressure on Dr. Hathaway. I was at her place of business, and I said she was lying about a World Health Organization report titled Persistent Organic Pollutants Impact on Child Health, and I meant it. And I felt good about saying it. It was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. And then the things progressed a little. A few days went by, and the sheriff's deputies were at my door, and they arrested me, and I was charged with stalking in the 4th degree. But that has finally come to an end here now. That charge was placed on November the 7th of 2012. Quite a few months later, but the wheels of justice kept turning, and I got the decision that I wanted from Judge Kathleen O'Horo. And I'm here to say, honor to Judge Kathleen O'Horo. She's a good American woman. She cares about the truth. She cares about justice, and she's given me a fair result in this charge I was facing. She dismissed the charge of stalking, and I'm free now to continue to apply pressure to Dr. Susan Hathaway to get her to do her job of warning the public of St. Lawrence County about the presence of these chemicals in food supply. The reason the St. Lawrence County Public Health Department chooses not to educate on the contamination of the animal fats of the mainstream food supply with PCBs and dioxins and flame retardants, these persistent organic pollutants. The reason they don't educate on that is the same reason why the New York State Department of Health doesn't educate on this, and the EPA doesn't educate on this, and the Food and Drug Administration doesn't educate on this, and the many other county public health departments around New York State and the rest of the country. None of these governmental public health entities educate on this, and it's one reason alone, is corporate pressure. The corporations that have poisoned the world, the entire world, with persistent organic pollutants, do not want to be held accountable for this. They want to get away with having done this, and it's largely about wanting to be able to avoid two things. One is the liability that they should have to stand up to and pay up for, the liability for having caused so much disease, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, in many of these cases caused by these chemicals that were used heavily without any knowledge of whether they would harm or not, and now it's been found they cause harm, and now the corporations want to basically get away with it. The other reason is they want to be able to continue to do business using chemicals as if nothing's happened. They want to be able to continue to carelessly use chemicals, to heavily use untested chemicals, as they proceed to make more billions after they've already made billions off of poisoning the world. I'm thinking we got to bring this to an end. We need to have accountability here. So I live here in St. Lawrence County. I pay taxes here, and I want my county public health department director, Dr. Susan Hathaway, to start educating about the presence of these chemicals in food, about all the diseases that have been caused by this, and that continue to be caused by this. So, we're laying this out. We've made a good, strong case and said it clearly for the public that government is choosing not to warn the residents, the citizens, about an avoidable, dangerous health hazard because the corporations run the show and they don't want government providing this warning. And this is wrong, and we're standing up to it. In this America, this is freedom of speech.